Good Sunday morning, everyone. Starting off with a live look out into the high country, looking stunning as usual. We are getting ready for a pretty long stretch of scorching heat ahead of us. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Anusha Roy.
And I'm Mark Salinger, Juana Brendan, and Chris Bianchi. And Chris, I'm just going to do a spoiler alert. What are you saying? Hot and dry, hot and dry, hot and dry, hot and dry. There's your forecast.
All right, you got it. I'm gone.
He's out. He's out. He's like, you covered it. That's all you need to know.
You got it.
We're done.
That is not all people need to know.
That's it. Back to you. No. On a serious note, it really is just hot and dry. It's going to feel like Phoenix here for the next 4 or 5 days or so. And I will say this without getting into anything too ominous here. It is a little bit concerning with how hot and dry it's been for the last 6-7 weeks or so, generally speaking, across Colorado. And you might be able to see some of the warning signs as well. We're done with the snowpack. This is of course, you only have the collegiate peaks. Those are 14ers there off of the distance, and you can see there's basically no snow left, which means we're losing some of that protection. So, of course, here, folks, let's be smart about things. Of course, if you're camping, make sure those campfires are put out. Make sure you're paying attention to those fire restrictions that might be in place for us here in the high country, because, again, it's going to be hot and dry, and we've been on that stretch for the last little while. So far this month, we're about 5 degrees above our month-to-date average for us here in Denver. It is our 8th warmest start to a June on record for us here in Denver. Already 76 degrees for us here in Denver, getting up to 94 degrees. I'm slightly tempted to bump up that high. I'm not going to lie. Might be 95, 96 for it today for us here in Denver, considering that it is 76 at 8 o'clock in the morning. Hot and dry with some afternoon clouds and maybe a brief little burst of gusty winds. Highs today, mid-90s for us. Again, this afternoon, we'll see some showers and storms for us along and north of I-70. In Denver, maybe, again, a brief period of some clouds and a little bit of gusty wind, and that should pretty much do in terms of those shower and storm chances for today and really over the next few days. Hot and dry most of the week, scorching with the heat advisory in place, but maybe later this week we get some storms. I'll have details on how hot it gets for tomorrow and Tuesday coming up in my full forecast.
Chris, thank you. Developing right now, Denver police are investigating a shooting that sent 2 people to the hospital overnight. Details still slim, but we know the shooting happened around East Colfax and Spruce. Extent to those injuries not known right now. We'll update you as we learn more.
Also new this morning, Denver police are looking into a crash between a motorcycle and a motorist. Happened a little after 1:30 this morning on Spear Boulevard and 12th Avenue. We are told that one person was taken to the hospital.
And Brighton police also investigating a deadly motorcycle crash. Happened around midnight on Prairie Center Parkway near Medical Center Drive. Not much known at this time about exactly what happened in that accident. Police posted on social media asking drivers to take alternate routes while they work the scene. We will update you on all of these cases as we get more information.
And this morning, we are hearing from the maintenance worker who was held hostage during an hours-long standoff in Commerce City on Friday. Happened off of Niagara and East 72nd as police were trying to arrest an armed man wanted for attacking a woman earlier in the day. He was later shot and killed by police. He also called a maintenance worker inside for a job and then held him hostage for about 30 minutes. That worker talked with us about how he got caught in the middle of a police standoff, saying when work needs to be done at the complex, they call him. And even though he didn't recognize the man, he willingly walked inside that home when he was asked for help. And that's when he says the man locked the door and then took out a 2-foot-long machete.
The guy is, I don't care if you have a wife and kids. I don't care, I'm going to kill you. I think I'm going to die today.
Outside, SWAT and Commerce City police started to surround the house. Manuel says that he got his break when the suspect turned his back.
Open this and then run. And he behind me. But the guy, he see the couple right there, he go back in there inside and lock the door.
After the 5-hour-long standoff, the suspect was killed by police. Manuel was not hurt, but very shaken by the experience. Police say the suspect refused to comply with commands to come out of the house and then peacefully surrender. His identity will eventually be released by the coroner's office.
A teenager is seriously hurt after a crash involving 2 motorcycles in a car in Commerce City. It's a story we first told you about early yesterday morning. Police say 2 motorcyclists were speeding on 270 westbound near York Street when they lost control and crashed. One of the bikers hit a car. 2 drivers, one teenage passenger were taken to the hospital.
7 paddleboarders are recovering after being rescued in Loveland this weekend. It happened around 9:30 Friday night at Boyd Lake. We've been getting details, though, throughout the weekend. Rescue crews say the wind was so strong it knocked the paddleboarders into the water, and they weren't able to make it back to shore on their own. Crews used rescue boats to get them back to shore.
And up in Summit County, there are some new warnings about safety on the water. Anyone getting on the water, make sure that you have your contact information on your boat. It's the law. The Summit County Sheriff's Office says they've responded to several calls last week of unattended kayaks on the Dillon Reservoir. They launched different searches for those kayakers, thinking that they had gone missing, used boats, drones, thinking that someone was in trouble. They weren't, though. The boat owners were eventually found safe on land.
And we are going to always defer to the worst case scenario. And so as a result, we end up using quite a bit of resources when we could have just had some simple answers. And there's ways that we can do that.
Park rangers say putting phone numbers on kayaks can prevent those false alarms. Sheriff's Office says rangers even carry Sharpies so that they can help people add those contact information whenever they're out on the water. Up in Weld County, no getting in the water at Windsor Lake. The state health department says there's harmful algae blooms in the water that are making it unsafe to go swimming right now. That means recreational activities on the lake, like tubing, water skiing, are a no-go for right now. Annual motorized permit holders still allowed on the lake during the closure, just can't get in the water. Non-motorized boaters can also use their permits at their own risk, but saying out of the water, of course, highly recommended while the algae bloom continues.